Wow, it really has been like 2 months since my last game review. Let me go ahead and clear that up. I basically lost interest in doing this. All these games are starting to blur together, so nothing was really standing out to me, and I felt a lot of my more recent videos lacked any sort of passion or drive to do them, which in turn made them worse. So pretty much there is no schedule from now on. I may take a week or 3 months in between reviews. I gotta want to do it, you know? I mean, I'm not getting paid for this, so there isn't any incentive to grind out a weekly show that might suck for months on end until I find something interesting to play that gets my gears turning. That being said, let's talk about Metagal. So if you've got a Mega Man-sized hole in your chest you need to fill, and Waiting for Mighty Number 9 has you in tears like an anime fan on prom night, then you may be looking at this game saying, this right here, this might do it. Metagal is inspired by the classic Mega Man games. Wait a minute. Hold up, I'm writing that wrong. Metagal is Mega Man if Mega Man went to the plastic surgeon and decided to Caitlyn Jenner himself, with various small differences to the game's mechanics being the car used to murk people in traffic. At first glance, the game plays off pretty much like an homage to Mega Man, the primary similarity being a boss selection wherein your choices make the game easier or harder. Eventually, you'll come to a progression of levels that you can't choose the order of, which is basically the Wily's Castle climb. Couple that with jumping and shooting, and on the surface, you have another Mega Man clone. Diving into things proper, we have an opening cutscene establishing the plot of the game. Meta's sisters have been kidnapped by General Creeper. Creeper? Really? And so Meta has to get them back by putting on a spandex one piece. I know I harp a lot on sexualization of women being a very, very, very cheap tactic to sell games, but I thought it was done pretty well here. Her outfit is just a gag poking fun at similar female characters wearing lingerie for real when they go on adventures, passing it off as battle equipment. You only get a good look at it for a short while before it's all retro pixel style again, and I seriously doubt anyone is jacking off to that. When the levels get going, the easiest way to describe them is a mixed bag. Some levels are extremely easy to blow through, while others require almost frame-perfect timing, which is never a good thing. The level I hate the absolute most would be Warp Gal's level. The level starts off fine until you get to the point where you're introduced to the gravity mechanics. Now, the gravity mechanics themselves are fine, but the problem lies in the multitude of mixed messages. So the first thing we see is a series of green portals. We learn here that there is something of a cycle between them, and it isn't directly back and forth. After that comes a series of pits you traverse with the gravity mechanics. We know pits are death, and the gravity bars are offering the player a way to cross them, conditioning the audience to use them to avoid these pits. When I got to the end, there was no way to progress. About half of my listed playtime was spent trying to figure out what the hell to do. There's a gear at one of these pits I interpreted as a prize for mastery of the gravity system, as I was able to grab it without falling into the pit. As it turns out, I'm supposed to free fall into this pit that looks like all the other death pits dotted around it. There is no indication of this, and it was a stupid idea. Bosses are much the same way in the vein of hit or miss. 3 of them are piss easy with brain-dead patterns, but then we have the green bitch who seems completely dependent on RNG. I came out of that fight not saying, awesome, I did it, instead saying, thank fucking Christ the game decided to let me win. The problem lies in the mind spam the boss can perform at seemingly random intervals. The hurt boxes are enormous, and she'll place them within pixels of each other, making it very difficult to avoid. So whenever I did beat it, it all basically came down to she used those moves very, very infrequently. And oh lordy, don't get me started on the water segments. They are by far the worst parts of the game. This is the basic design philosophy of the water segments. Throw a bunch of spike traps in an enclosed area and let the player find the magic frame to release the jump button at. It's absolutely maddening. All this makes me feel like Metagal is a shitty Mario Maker level and nothing more. And last but not least, the energy bar. The way this particular thing works is all weapons feed off this bar. So it doesn't matter what you're shooting, if you run out of energy, you're out of ammo. This is the dumbest thing I've seen in a platformer. This screams to me the devs are trying to pass it off with a little bit of, hey guys, I mean, come on, we changed something so it isn't a complete ripoff, jeez. Look, you already gave us Mega Man in everything but name, you might as well keep all of its smart ideas. Not only that, but just being able to spam that lemon shooter, it's kind of the same as you're just cutting grass in Legend of Zelda. It's not a very important thing, it's very trivial, but it's somehow cathartic and just, you want to do it. But you can't in this one. But I mean, in the end, the price this is going for really helps it out. Because as infuriating as it was, for $3, I'd say I got my money's worth. I've certainly played much worse for much more. So here's what I'm going to say. If you aren't expecting anything too good, Metagal will meet your expectations. If you're looking for a game to tide you over until someone makes a good Mega Man clone, pass this one up.